All right, let's draw a cylinder and a cone. You'll need a piece of paper, a ruler, a pencil with a good eraser. If you don't have a good eraser, grab an extra eraser. Okay, we're going to have to draw our cylinder and cone. So line up your ruler just a little bit over from the edge of the paper like this. Start about 3 inches down from the top. We're going to draw a line about 4 inches. Then let's go 2 inches over from that line. If at any point you need to pause the video, just pause it and catch up. I'm going to measure 2 inches over, make a mark. Move my ruler down, measure 2 inches over, make a mark. Line the ruler up with the top of the paper again. And from the 3 down to the 7, draw another line. So I've got 2 lines that are 4 inches long, 2 inches apart from each other. On the top of this line, I'm going to draw an ellipse. As you draw these things, I want you to draw lightly. I'm drawing a little bit darker so it shows up good on the screen. So I've got 2 ellipses, top and the bottom. I'm going to erase the top half of this bottom ellipse. So now we've got ourselves a solid cylinder. Going to move my ruler over here a little bit and just kind of eye from the top to the bottom of the cylinder. I don't know what angle that was, but I'm making a nice tall skinny cone. I'm doing another ellipse. I will erase. Right now it looks like we're looking up at the ellipse, but if I erase this top half, now we're just looking kind of straight on at this cone. Okay, we have to decide where our light source is coming from. I'm just going to put mine coming from this direction. If you want to do something different, challenge yourself, go for it. Do put it to the side though, so we can have a cast shadow, which is our next thing. I'm looking at where that top of that ellipse was. I'm going to come off this direction and make just a small cast shadow because our light source is kind of above and to the side. And this cast shadow will come to a point. I like that. Remember, draw those lightly because cast shadows, any shadow, does not have an outline. All right, let's think about the sphere you did earlier. The sphere had a core shadow, right? These also have core shadows. I'm going to take my ruler and about in the middle of this cast shadow, we'll say about right there. I'm going to draw a line going straight up. I'm going to move my ruler over just a little bit and draw another line. And that's going to be our core shadow. Our core shadow is the darkest shadow on the object. So I'll just shade that in pretty dark. Okay, and then you're going to do that value scale thing that was the gradual value scale where you gradually went from dark to light. I'm going to rotate my paper a little bit. I think I'll set this on here so I don't smudge. And now I'm going to go from dark core shadow, gradually getting lighter and lighter. And I think I already went too dark. So remember, when you do yours, it's easier to go back and make things darker than it is to go back and make things lighter. Now you might have been asking yourself, why did I just do a little section down there when it would be easier in theory to do the whole thing, but it's actually pretty hard to do something that long all at once. If you can do it, go for it, because I kind of did make things more difficult for myself because now I have to shade this upper section and I caused myself problems right here where there's a little bit of overlapping. You can see this darker area and I have to do my best to blend that out. And this is where people want to just take their finger and start smudging, or take some tissue and start smudging. Don't do it. Try to do it with your pencil. Do it with your pencil. You need to learn to shade with just your pencil. And then after, you can draw as many cylinders as you want, and you can just smudge them all day long if you want to, but not for this assignment. Gradually getting lighter as I go over to this edge here. You can still see a little bit of dark area right there. Just super lightly going over that to try to blend it in. That's going to bug me, but there's not a lot I can do about that now. Now on this side, I'm going to do the same thing, dark to light. I just quickly run out of room, so it's still pretty dark along the edge here. Another thing I see a lot is a rectangular core shadow shape. I don't want to be able to see the shape of that core shadow because it should blend out. It's part of the can, it's not sitting on the can. It's just the shadow, so make sure that core shadow is blended out nicely. Our cast shadow, pretty dark right up against the cylinder. It gets a little bit lighter as it goes away. Now this is a one light source cast shadow. If we had multiple light sources, well, this whole thing would get pretty complicated pretty quick and you'd have various shadows along the base, but we're sticking with one light source for this assignment. Be sure you get rid of the outline of your shadows.
Can I get a custodian to the front office, please?
Shadows do not have outlines. That's never a good sign when they ask for a custodian to the front office. All right, let's move on to the cone. My cone's a little bit leany. It's the leaning cone of Pisa. I'm going to draw another core shadow here, and this core shadow mimics the shape of the form, which is a cone. So it's a little bit wider at the base, and then it goes up to a point at the tip. That's important to do correctly, and it's important to take note of because the rest of our shading is also going to mimic that wide at the base, skinny at the top thing. Okay, I've got my core shadow in here. Rotate my paper just for ease. Now at the base, I've got all this room to go from dark to light. But up here in the middle and towards the top, got to do all of that dark to light in a smaller space. And then up here at the very top section, I'm going dark to light really quick. So I've got 3 different sections. I can see a little overlapping. I'm going to try my best to blend that out without smearing. Another thing, in real life, these forms do not have outlines like this, so I hope you started out by drawing this lightly and you could erase those lines. I'm just going to leave them. Okay, I've got very tiny room on this side to go from dark to light, and I'm not really going from dark to light, going from dark to not quite as dark. Along the base here, do my cast shadow, pretty dark right up against the object, tiny bit lighter as it goes away. Okay, when you are done, tidy it up with your eraser, and then take a picture and submit it for grading.